Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be talking about AI in healthcare. And you've given us a collection of research that is just remarkable. AI is being used to analyze therapy sessions, diagnose diseases, just from sounds, even matching patients to the perfect clinical trial.
Yeah, it seems like we're stepping into a sci-fi movie, but this is all real and happening right now, and we're here to help break it all down.
I think a good place to start is with something that I think we can all relate to, and that's therapy. I'm sure we've all wondered what happens in those sessions. Well, researchers Alexander Vanin, Vadim Bolshev, and Anastasia Panfilova, they wondered too, and they used AI to analyze the language used by
Oh,
therapists.
that's really interesting. What did they find?
Well, they used this machine learning tool called BurTopic to analyze transcripts from both classical and modern therapy sessions.
So BurTopic, it identifies those recurring themes or topics within a large amount of text, right?
Exactly. And what they found is that certain core themes consistently popped up in the language of both classical and modern therapists.
Huh. So while therapy styles may have evolved over time, there are these fundamental communication patterns that remain consistent. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's a pretty insightful discovery, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. This could be really valuable for training new therapists or even helping those experienced therapists improve their skills. Imagine an AI-powered tool that could analyze a therapist's language and give them feedback on their communication style, or identify areas for improvement.
It's like having a personalized coach for therapists.
Exactly. And speaking of personalization, there's another study that looked at this. Huivu and colleagues, they developed something called PsychAdapter.
PsychAdapter.
Yeah, it allows AI to generate language tailored to specific personality traits and even mental health conditions.
Really? How does that work?
Well, it's a modification that they made to large language models, those AI systems that can understand and generate human-like text.
Yeah, okay.
What's impressive is the accuracy they achieved. Their AI was able to create text that aligned with specific personality profiles and mental health conditions with a high degree of precision.
So we're talking about AI that can not only understand but also communicate in a way that is sensitive to individual differences in personality and mental health.
Exactly.
What are the potential applications for something like that?
Well, just imagine a chatbot that could adapt its communication style to each user, right? Creating a more personalized and engaging experience. Or think about clinical training tools that could simulate conversations with patients who have specific mental health conditions. So healthcare professionals could practice their skills in a safe and controlled environment.
It's like having a virtual patient that you can learn from and interact with.
Exactly. This technology could really revolutionize the way we train healthcare professionals.
It's interesting. These two studies we've talked about highlight the connection between language and mental health.
Yeah, for sure.
Our mental well-being is also closely linked to our physical health, though.
Right.
And this leads us to the research of Zihan Zhu and their team, who focused on something called psychosomatic disorders.
Psychosomatic disorders.
Conditions where mental factors can influence physical symptoms.
Ah, okay.
They used large language models to create a knowledge graph for psychosomatic disorders.
A knowledge graph.
Basically maps out the relationships between different concepts. So in this case, they connected diseases, symptoms, and even drug treatments, creating a visual representation of how these elements relate to each other within the context of psychosomatic disorders.
Okay, so by analyzing the relationships within this knowledge graph, they could potentially uncover hidden connections between seemingly disparate conditions.
Exactly. Like piecing together a puzzle. Right?
Yeah, I see that.
By understanding how the different pieces of the puzzle fit together, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complex interplay between the mind and body.
That makes a lot of sense.
This could be incredibly valuable for both researchers and clinicians who are trying to understand and treat these really challenging conditions.
Yeah, it's like having a roadmap to navigate the intricate world of psychosomatic disorders.
Yeah, a roadmap. So we've seen how AI can analyze language to gain insights into mental health and its connection to physical health. But can AI also interpret other types of data, like sounds?
Absolutely. Sharon Roman Alve and their team use deep learning. It's a powerful type of AI to predict chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, from respiratory sounds.
I know COPD is a serious lung disease. Could you tell us more about how AI could possibly diagnose this just by listening to someone breathe?
Sure. They trained a deep learning model using recordings of respiratory sounds, and they were able to achieve 96% accuracy in identifying COPD and even determining the severity of the condition.
Oh, that's really high.
Yeah, and this could be a game changer for early diagnosis and treatment, particularly in areas with limited access to specialized medical care.
That's incredible. Imagine the possibilities. This technology could be integrated into telehealth platforms or even used in remote areas where people might not have easy access to doctors. It's like having a portable diagnostic tool right in your pocket.
That's the power of AI. It has the potential to make healthcare more accessible, affordable, and efficient. It's not just about replacing doctors, but about augmenting their abilities and empowering them to provide better care for their patients.
And speaking of empowering researchers, let's move on to the work of Zijian Chen and their colleagues who developed a tool called GeneSeam.
GeneSeam.
Yeah. Now, I know genes can sound complicated, but why should our listeners care about this research?
Well, imagine you're a researcher trying to understand a specific gene and its role in disease. You have to sift through mountains of scientific literature, which can be incredibly time-consuming. GeneSeum, powered by large language models, acts like a super efficient research assistant that can automatically analyze vast amounts of scientific text and extract the most relevant information about a particular gene.
So instead of spending hours or days or even weeks poring over research papers, scientists can use GeneSeum to get a concise and accurate summary of the key findings related to their gene of interest.
Exactly. It's like having a personalized scientific digest tailored to your specific research needs.
This can dramatically accelerate the pace of scientific discovery, especially in fast-moving fields like genetics and genomics, where new information is constantly emerging.
Absolutely.
This brings up an interesting point, though. AI seems to be really good at analyzing vast amounts of data, whether it's text or sound or even images. But can we trust AI's conclusions, especially when it comes to something as critical as healthcare?
That's an excellent question. It leads us to this exciting field of explainable AI. Badaruai Olumuyiwa and their team, they're at the forefront of this, using deep learning to enhance cancer diagnosis, but they're also making the decision-making process transparent.
So they're not just creating AI that can identify cancer cells, but AI that can explain how it arrived at that conclusion. Why is that so important?
Well, think about it from the perspective of both doctors and patients. If you're going to make critical healthcare decisions based on an AI's recommendation, you need to understand how that recommendation was reached. So explainable AI builds trust and confidence in these systems by showing the reasoning behind their predictions.
It's like having a doctor who not only gives you a diagnosis, but also walks you through their thought process, explaining the evidence and logic behind their conclusions.
Exactly.
That level of transparency is really reassuring.
Absolutely. And it's particularly crucial when we're talking about life-altering decisions like cancer treatment. Explainable AI helps to bridge the gap between the complex inner workings of these algorithms and the need for human understanding and accountability in healthcare.
So explainable AI makes these systems more transparent and trustworthy. But how does AI actually help in the practical aspects of managing a complex disease like cancer?
Well, that's where the work of Ethan Cerami and his colleagues comes in. They developed MatchMiner AI.
MatchMiner AI.
Yeah, it's an open source solution for matching cancer patients to clinical trials. It's a challenging process, but AI can streamline it by analyzing a patient's specific medical history and matching them with the most relevant trials.
So it's like having a super-powered matchmaker for clinical trials.
Precisely. It's about removing barriers to access and ensuring that patients have the best possible chance of receiving the most effective treatment. And the fact that it's open source means that researchers and developers around the world can contribute to improving this tool, making it even more powerful and accessible.
So we've talked about AI interpreting sounds, analyzing images, and even matching patients to clinical trials. But what about its role in communication, especially for people who have difficulty expressing themselves?
That's a really important area of research. Sybren van Waals and their team are using large language models to address the challenges faced by individuals with Broca's aphasia, a condition that makes it difficult to produce speech.
I know people with Broca's aphasia often struggle to find the right words or complete their sentences. How can AI possibly help with that?
Well, they train large language models to complete fragmented sentences produced by people with Broca's aphasia. And they didn't just throw any language model at the problem. They first created a data set that mimics the linguistic characteristics of Broca's aphasic speech.
So it's like teaching the AI to speak the language of Broca's aphasia.
Exactly. That way, the AI could better understand the unique communication patterns and challenges faced by individuals with this condition.
That's amazing. What were the results of this approach?
The fine-tuned language models were able to complete sentences with greater accuracy, especially with longer and more complex utterances. This suggests that AI could be used to develop more effective communication aids for people with aphasia, empowering them to express themselves more fluently and confidently.
Imagine the impact this could have on the lives of people who have lost their ability to communicate freely. It's about giving them back their voice and their ability to connect with the world around them.
Absolutely. And it speaks to the broader potential of AI to create more inclusive and accessible technologies that can benefit everyone, regardless of their abilities or disabilities.
This brings up another important theme that seems to be emerging from this research: accessibility. Making healthcare information and technology more accessible to everyone, regardless of language barriers or other challenges.
That's a key point. And it's something that Lulu Zhao and their team have addressed directly with their work on CareBot. It's a bilingual medical large language model.
Bilingual?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why is that significant?
Well, it addresses a major barrier to healthcare access for many people around the world: language. CareBot is designed to provide medical information and consultation in both English and Chinese, which are two of the most spoken languages globally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this means people can access healthcare information in their native language, which can be incredibly empowering and improve their understanding of complex medical topics. What else makes CareBot unique?
It's open source, which means that the code and resources are freely available to the research community. This fosters collaboration and innovation, allowing others to build upon their work and further advance the field of medical AI.
It's like creating a global hub for developing and sharing medical AI tools that can benefit everyone. This open source approach is truly remarkable, and it speaks to the collaborative spirit of the AI community. So we've covered AI that can interpret language, sounds, and even vast amounts of scientific literature. But can AI also analyze visual data, like the kind generated by medical imaging?
Of course. In fact, S. Bella Subramanian and their team have developed Classify Vista. It's an AI framework for analyzing videos from wireless capsule endoscopy.
Okay, for those of us who aren't familiar with this procedure, could you explain what wireless capsule endoscopy is? and how AI can improve it.
Sure. It's a procedure where a patient swallows a tiny camera that travels through their digestive tract, capturing images along the way. This allows doctors to see areas that are difficult to reach with traditional endoscopy. However, analyzing the video footage can be really time-consuming and requires specialized expertise.
So how does Classify Vista change that? What can AI do that humans can't?
Classify Vista uses advanced AI techniques, including attention mechanisms and segmentation algorithms, to automatically detect and classify different features in the video footage. It can identify areas of bleeding, inflammation, and other abnormalities, making the diagnostic process much faster and more accurate.
It's like having an extra set of eyes, or rather an extra brain, analyzing the video footage and flagging potential issues that might be missed by human observation.
Exactly. It's not about replacing doctors, but about providing them with powerful tools that can enhance their diagnostic capabilities and help them make better decisions for their patients. Plus, Classify Vista provides interpretable results, meaning it highlights the specific areas in the video that led to its conclusions.
So it's not a black box. Doctors can see exactly what the AI is focusing on and why it's making certain classifications. That level of transparency is so important for building trust in AI systems, especially in healthcare.
Absolutely. Transparency is crucial for ensuring that AI is used responsibly and ethically in medical decision-making. It's also essential for fostering collaboration between doctors and AI systems.
So we've seen how AI can analyze all sorts of data, text, sound, images, even video footage. It's clearly a powerful tool for diagnosis and treatment. What about its role in pushing the boundaries of how we understand the human body at the cellular level?
That's where the field of single-cell RNA sequencing, or cRNA-seq, comes in. It's a revolutionary technology that allows scientists to analyze the gene expression patterns of individual cells. This gives us an unprecedented view of how cells function and interact with each other, opening up new avenues for understanding disease and developing more targeted therapies.
That sounds incredibly complex. I'm guessing AI plays a role in making sense of this data.
You guessed right. Kong Lai and their team have developed scReader, an innovative approach that uses large language models to interpret scRNA-seq data.
So it's like having an AI translator that can decipher the complex language of cells. That's pretty mind-blowing, wouldn't you say?
It really is. scReader combines the general knowledge of large language models with domain-specific models tailored to the unique challenges of analyzing cRNA-seq data. This allows it to identify patterns, make connections, and extract meaningful insights from the vast amounts of information generated by this technology.
So scReader can not only help us understand how individual cells work, but also reveal the similarities and differences between cells from different organisms. This could lead to breakthroughs in fields like genetics, developmental biology, and even regenerative medicine.
Precisely. It's a powerful example of how AI is helping us unlock the secrets of the human body at the most fundamental level.
But as we've seen throughout this deep dive, it's not just about developing impressive AI technologies. It's also about ensuring that these technologies are implemented responsibly and effectively in real-world healthcare settings.
That's an important point, and it's something that Yudong Gan and their colleagues have highlighted in their critical review of AI and clinical coding workflows.
Clinical coding sounds pretty technical. Could you break that down for us and explain why it's so important in healthcare?
Sure. Clinical coding is the process of translating medical diagnoses and procedures into standardized codes. These codes are essential for billing, research, and public health reporting. It's a complex and time-consuming task that involves understanding medical terminology and applying specific coding rules.
So it's like the language of healthcare administration.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing AI has the potential to automate this process.
Exactly. There's been a lot of interest in using AI to streamline clinical coding workflows. However, Gan and their colleagues point out that many current AI coding systems are not fully aligned with the real-world needs of healthcare professionals.
So while the technology might be impressive, it's not quite ready for prime time in clinical settings. What are some of the challenges that need to be addressed?
Well, they recommend that AI coding systems need to be more adaptable to the vast number of codes used in practice. They also need to be trained on data that accurately reflects real-world clinical scenarios.
It's like making sure the AI speaks the same language as the human coders it's supposed to be assisting.
Precisely. It's about bridging the gap between the potential of AI and the practical realities of healthcare administration.
So it's not just about creating AI that can analyze complex data, but also about making sure that it can be seamlessly integrated into existing healthcare workflows.
Absolutely. It's about making AI work for healthcare, not the other way around.
And on that note, let's wrap up this first part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, exploring how AI is transforming everything from the way we analyze therapy sessions to the way we diagnose diseases, and even understand the human body at a cellular level. It's been an incredible journey so far.
It really has, and we've only just scratched the surface. There are so many more fascinating applications of AI in healthcare that we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more mind-blowing insights into the world of AI in healthcare.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the fascinating world of AI and healthcare. Before the break, we were talking about AI and clinical coding workflows. But now let's shift gears a bit and talk about AI's role in analyzing those microscopic images to diagnose cancer.
Ooh, so we're getting really high-tech now. What exactly are we looking at?
Dipankar Bala and their team have developed MRNet.
MRNet.
Yeah, it's a specialized AI model that analyzes histopathological images. Those are images of tissue samples taken under a microscope, and they use this to identify lung and colon cancer.
So instead of just relying solely on a pathologist's interpretation,
Yeah.
we now now have AI that can help detect cancer cells. That's incredible. How accurate is this AI compared to human experts?
Well, mRNet has actually shown exceptional accuracy, even outperforming other, state-of-the-art AI architectures in identifying those cancerous cells in images.
So this could potentially lead to earlier detection and better outcomes for patients.
Exactly. It's about augmenting the expertise of pathologists with the power of AI to analyze these vast amounts of visual data. And yeah, potentially leading to earlier interventions and more targeted treatment plans.
That's incredible. So we've talked about AI's potential to improve diagnosis.
Yeah.
But can it also help us understand the underlying causes of disease, particularly at the cellular level?
You're talking about single-cell RNA sequencing, or cRNA-seq.
As the RNA-seq?
Yeah, it's a technique that allows scientists to analyze gene expression patterns of individual cells. This technology generates a ton of data, and it can be incredibly difficult to interpret without the help of AI.
Right. It seems like AI is really good at handling those massive data sets that would just take humans forever to analyze. But how exactly is AI being used in this specific area, like the research on psychosomatic disorders? AI seems to be good at finding those hidden connections, piecing together the puzzle of how different aspects of our health are interconnected.
Right. That ability to connect the dots is one of AI's greatest strengths, especially when dealing with complex systems like the human body, or even the intricate web of human communication.
Which brings us back to the topic of mental health. Earlier, we discussed AI's role in analyzing therapy sessions and tailoring language to specific personality types and mental health conditions. But are there other ways that AI can be used to understand and address mental health challenges?
Well, Francisco de Riba Perez and Silvia Garcia Mendez, they've developed a system that uses AI to detect anxiety and depression in everyday conversations.
Right.
Yeah, specifically in chatbot interactions.
Wait, so AI can pick up on signs of anxiety and depression just by analyzing how people are talking to a chatbot? How is that even possible?
Well, their system utilizes large language models for feature extraction from the chatbot conversations. So essentially, the AI is trained to identify those subtle linguistic cues that might indicate anxiety or depression.
So it's like the AI is learning to read between the lines, picking up on those nuances in language that might not be obvious to us.
Exactly. What's remarkable is their system achieved a 90% accuracy in identifying those conditions based on chatbot conversations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine the potential this holds for early detection and intervention.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's like having a mental health checkup built into everyday conversations. This could be incredibly valuable for people who might not feel comfortable seeking traditional mental health services.
Absolutely. It could help to destigmatize mental health issues and encourage people to seek help sooner. And the fact that this AI is being applied to chatbot interactions, it makes it even more accessible because chatbots are becoming increasingly common.
Right. So we've seen how AI can help diagnose physical conditions like COPD and cancer,
Hmm.
analyze cellular data to understand the roots of disease, and even detect mental health issues just by listening to conversations. It seems like AI is being applied to practically every aspect of healthcare. But I'm curious, is there anything AI can't do? Are there any limitations to its potential in this field?
That's a great question. It's important to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it has its limitations. One thing to consider is that AI algorithms are only as good as the data they are trained on. So if the training data is biased or incomplete, the AI system may make inaccurate or even, harmful decisions.
That's a really important point. So it's not just about developing sophisticated AI algorithms, but also about making sure that those algorithms are trained on diverse and representative data sets.
Exactly. We need to be mindful of potential biases in the data and take steps to mitigate them. Otherwise, we risk perpetuating existing health disparities or even creating new ones.
So responsible AI development is key. It's not just about the technology itself, but about using it ethically and ensuring that it benefits all members of society.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another important consideration, the role of human oversight. AI is a powerful tool, but it shouldn't replace human judgment.
Yeah.
Especially in healthcare. We need to strike a balance between leveraging AI's capabilities and maintaining that essential role of human expertise and empathy in patient care.
So it's not about AI versus humans. It's about AI and humans working together to achieve the best possible outcomes for patients.
Exactly. We need to view AI as a partner, a collaborator in the pursuit of better health for everyone.
This has been an incredible exploration of the many ways that AI is transforming healthcare, from analyzing therapy sessions to predicting COPD just from listening to someone breathe, to deciphering the language of cells. We've seen how AI is being applied to, virtually every aspect of this field.
Yeah. It's remarkable how far we've come in such a short time, and the pace of innovation is only accelerating.
But as we move forward, it's crucial that we do so with careful consideration for ethical implications and potential biases, ensuring that AI benefits all members of society.
Absolutely. Responsible AI development is essential if we want to harness the power of this technology for the greater good.
And on that note, let's wrap up this second part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground exploring the potential and the challenges of AI in healthcare, but we're not done yet. In our final segment, we'll step back and reflect on the bigger picture, considering what this all means for the future of healthcare.
So stay tuned for part 3 of our deep dive. We'll be right back to delve deeper into the implications of AI in healthcare.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into AI and healthcare. We've covered so much, from AI analyzing therapy sessions to algorithms that can detect cancer cells just from looking at microscopic images.
Yeah, it's amazing how many different ways AI is being used to improve healthcare, from diagnosing diseases to personalizing treatments to accelerating those scientific discoveries.
And even helping those with speech impairments to communicate.
Yeah.
But as we've discussed, it's not just about the technology itself, but also how it's developed and used responsibly and ethically.
Right, exactly. As we move forward, it's really important to consider the potential biases that might be embedded in the training data and make sure these AI systems are designed to benefit everyone.
Transparency and human oversight are really crucial too, to build trust and make sure that these powerful tools are being used for good.
Yeah, I agree.
Throughout this deep dive, one of the things that really stood out to me is how AI is being used to augment healthcare rather than replace human expertise.
Absolutely. It's most effective when it's used as a partner to help healthcare professionals make better decisions and provide the best possible care for their patients. It's not about replacing doctors, nurses, or therapists, but enhancing their capabilities and creating a more collaborative approach to healthcare.
It's like giving them superpowers.
Yeah, exactly. Giving them the tools to analyze all that data, identify patterns, and offer those insights that might be missed otherwise.
AI can help doctors diagnose diseases earlier, personalize treatment plans, even predict those potential health risks before they become serious.
And it can streamline all those administrative tasks too, so healthcare professionals can spend more time with their patients.
So it's not just about efficiency. It's also about enhancing that human touch, allowing those healthcare professionals to really focus on patient well-being.
Yeah, exactly. Creating a healthcare system that's both technologically advanced and human-centered.
That's a future I'm excited about, one where technology and compassion work together to improve health for everyone.
It's definitely an exciting time to be working in this field. We're seeing this convergence of biology, medicine, and AI that has the potential to revolutionize healthcare as we know it.
We've seen that throughout our deep dive, from using AI to analyze therapy sessions, to those deep learning algorithms that can detect cancer and predict COPD. It seems like the possibilities are limitless.
We've only just scratched the surface. I mean, there's so many new discoveries and innovations emerging. It's impossible to predict what the future holds, but AI will continue to shape the future of healthcare. That much we know.
It's an incredible journey. And even though there are some challenges and ethical considerations, the potential benefits are huge.
Absolutely. By being responsible in how we develop and implement AI, and by fostering collaboration between researchers, healthcare professionals, and policymakers, we can create a future where everyone has access to high-quality, personalized healthcare.
That's definitely a vision worth striving for. And it's a journey we hope you'll continue with us. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the amazing world of AI in healthcare.
And thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you learned something new and that you're excited to see what the future holds for AI in healthcare.
Until next time, stay healthy and keep exploring.